Good morning, students. Welcome to the online classes by the Department of English. Today, I'm here to discuss a new topic, letter writing. And I know when I say letter writing, it's not a new topic for you at all because you have mastered the art of letter writing. You have been writing letters since your lower classes. And you are very much familiar with the two kinds of letters that we normally write, formal letters and informal letters. Informal letters we write to our acquaintances, to our friends, to our parents, to the people who know us very well, and the tone will always be informal. Now, when we say formal letters, again the formal letters are divided into several categories. There is the letter of complaint, there is the letter of enquiry, and so on. And all these letters, formal letters, these days the art of writing a letter has taken a backseat because of the development of the modern technology. Now we are very much happy to give the information through SMS or through the short messages that we send through WhatsApp or through email. And again, we don't bother much about the tone of what we write too, because even the formal communication has taken to an informal level these days. But for second PUC students, there is letter writing included in your syllabus for 5 marks. And again, you have to write only one kind of letter, that is letter of application. So when we say letter of application, it means a letter written with the purpose of seeking a job or a letter written with the purpose of seeking an employment. See, after your studies, when you start searching for a job, you'll understand no one will call you and give job. Instead, you have to apply. And this is what we are going to learn today in this class, how to write letters of application. Now, letter of application is a kind of formal letter because you may not know the employer, you might have heard about the employer, or you might have come across the advertisements, you might have known a lot about the company, but the person to whom you write the letter, the addressee may not be familiar to you. So as in the case of any formal letter, letter of application has to be concise, it should be precise, crisp, and you should give in only the details that are required or the details which will help you to get an employment. So the tone should be formal, that is what matters. And again, there is a format in which we have to write. Now, before we move on to the format, when we apply for a job, we have to let the company, let the organization to which we apply for job, we have to let them know that we have these qualifications, we have these desired qualifications. So how do we let them know about that? Through the biodata that we submit. So there are two ways in which we can write a letter of application. Write a letter, include a small biodata into that, give your personal details within the letter. That is one way of writing a letter of application. The other way is that you write a letter, you request them to consider your application through the letter, and at the end of the letter just write an enclosure, and the enclosure will be the biodata that you attach in a separate sheet. With the intention of getting better marks in your examination, I teach you the second method, that is writing a letter and then attaching a biodata to that. So let us see the format. So let us see the first part. When you start writing a letter, what do you write at the beginning? There should always be an idea about who sends the letter. So the first element is the sender's address. Okay? Sender's address, you need not elaborate on the address, but you have to write the address in short without the name. Name is not required when you write sender's address. Just write the address. So let us just to see how the address is written. So we spoke about sender's address. I have written an address here. There is no name. Okay? Just write the address. The name of the sender we will write at the end. So first the sender's address is written, the complete address. If you want, you can write your mobile number too, because that has become the new norm today. Email address and phone number. But for the sake of examination, you just write the address, that is enough. Now, after writing the sender's address, leave one line and next comes the date. Okay? So how do you write date? Date can be written in two ways. You have to mention the month in full, or even if you write DEC for December, NOV for November, that is also fine. So write the date, the month and the year. This is one way of writing the date. Or you can write it like this, December 23, 2020. These are the two ways in which we write the date in a formal letter. You should not write 23/12/2020. This is not the way to write it. Okay? You can write it in these two ways. Next comes, after writing the date, leave a line and then write the receiver's address. I have left it blank. We'll come to that. We'll see a model later. Now, the receiver's address would usually be given in the question. The question comes in the form of an advertisement in some newspaper. So, the receiver's address would be there. Suppose there is a vacancy of accountant in our own college. How do you write? The correspondent, Gopal Swami Independent PU College, Lakshmipuram, Mysuru. That would be the address. So write the receiver's address in full here. Now after the receiver's address, leave one line and next comes salutation. So what do you mean by salutation? Salutation means addressing the person. Whom do you address? The employer, the one who is supposed to be in charge of getting the applications from others. Suppose you are writing a letter to the correspondent, and if you know about the gender of the person, if the person is a male, you can write sir. If the person is a female, you can write madam. If you are not sure about the gender, you can just write sir or madam. But for the examination, just write sir. That would be enough. Now, if you want, you can add dear sir, or you can write respected sir. Respected madam, dear madam would also be fine. Again, remember, after this you have to put a comma. Here at the end, if you have noticed, I have not put commas anywhere. Punctuation is also very important, because these days, rather than writing letters, we type the letters and send. So to make the procedure easy, we avoid punctuation to the maximum. But after sir or madam, after salutation, you have to put a comma. Now, salutation, then comes the subject. So sender's address, one line, then write the date, leave one line, write the receiver's address, leave one line, write salutation, and soon after salutation, no need to leave any line, then comes the subject. When you write subject, it should not be towards the center. It should be, imagine that there is a line over here. You have to write close to the margin. Everything should be left inclined. So comes the subject here. And in subject, you have to write S in capitals. And here, what do you write? Application for the post of accountant. Suppose you are applying for the post of a nurse. You can write application for the post of a nurse. The subject should always be short. It should not be more than 6 or 7 words. subject tells the receiver about the purpose of writing letter. So in a glance, when the receiver gets the letter, if he just goes through the subject, he'll get to know to which post the person has applied for. So the purpose of writing a letter should be written in the subject. It should be short, not more than 8 words. And generally we write application for the post of whichever post you are applying for, mention about it. Now comes reference. Now what do you mean by reference? Reference refers to the source of information. Where did you get the information about the vacancy in the organization? It might be an advertisement that has appeared in a newspaper. Mostly, in most of the cases, it is an advertisement that comes in a newspaper. So you have to mention the source. How do you mention the source? Again, short REF here stands for reference. Just REF is enough. Put a colon, and after the colon you write The Hindu dated 20th December 2020. What does it mean? The advertisement for the vacant post has appeared in the Hindu. When did it appear? It appeared on the Hindu edition of 20th December 2020. So you just mention the Hindu dated 20th December 2020. This also helps the employer to know that this person is applying for the advertisement for this particular vacancy that we have advertised in this paper on this particular date. So that is what we call as reference. So after writing this much, you can straight away write the body of the letter. So what do you write in the body of the letter? I have already mentioned. So we are going to attach a biodata. Biodata includes the personal data, it includes the professional data, it includes the work experience, everything. So since we are attaching a biodata separate to this letter, we need to just mention that we are applying for the job. It is the job seeker who writes the letter. So the tone should be formal, the tone of the letter should be polite because it is an appeal to the employer. Now, the body of the letter can be written in a single paragraph, it can be written in 3 paragraphs also. Whatever be it, the first part of the body of the letter should mention of the post to which you apply for job. Say for example, you can just start your letter like this. In response to the advertisement that appeared in the Hindu dated 20th December 2020, I apply for the post of accountant in your esteemed organization. So in the first sentence, you are mentioning about the source of information. You are also mentioning about the fact that you are applying for the post. And then what else do you need to include in the body of the letter? You have to mention that you have got all the qualifications that they have asked for. I have all the qualifications that you have asked for. I assure you that I would carry out my duties sincerely, hoping for a positive response from you. This much is enough for the body of the letter. Okay. First mention about the source of the information, then mention that you are applying for the post of accountant or nurse or director, etc., etc. Then mention that you have got all the qualifications that they have asked for through the advertisement. And then mention that you are ready to work hard, you will be sincere in your work. Give that assurance so that the employer would be happy to take you into the organization. And then wind up your letter by stating that you are positive about their response to you. And you can also mention that you have attached the biodata along with the letter. That also can be mentioned in a sentence. So that comes in the body of the letter. Now after writing that in a paragraph. What else do you need to write? You have to wind up your letter. Complementary closure, we call that. Okay, complementary closure, it is thank you. You have to thank the employer for reading your letter, for giving some attention to your letter. So thank you. Again, don't write thanking you. That's the old format. Just write thank, one small space, you. No comma after that. And then comes yours faithfully. Okay, yours faithfully. Remember, Y should be capital, F should be small letter. Y is capital letter Y and F should always be small letter. You can even write yours truly. That's also acceptable. So thank you, yours faithfully, and then comes the signature line. So what do you mean by signature line? Signature line means giving the sign. You have not mentioned your name at the top of the letter. With the sender's address, you have not mentioned your name. So you have to put your signature, and after signature you have to mention the name because the name has not been mentioned earlier. So write the name. So this comes as a single unit. Body of the letter, leave one line, write complementary clause and then the signature line, then leave one line, then what comes next? Then comes enclosure. So what do you enclose? You enclose the biodata because biodata contains the rest of the details. You have not mentioned in detail about your qualification here in the body of the letter. So how do they get to know? You have just mentioned that I have all the desired qualifications. I have all the qualifications that you have asked for. Even in the body of the letter, you can also mention about the years of experience that you have. I have got 3 years of experience as an accountant in some other organization. That also you can mention inside the letter, in the body of the letter. So the details pertaining to that will appear in the biodata. So you write here ENCL, it stands for enclosure. Even you can write it fully, enclosure, and then one colon, and after colon comes biodata, bio, then put a small dash and then write data. So this is the covering letter that you write. The cover letter, the letter of application. So one part is over. So I have already mentioned to you that letter writing is for 5 marks. So out of 5 marks, 2 marks is for the format of the letter and 3 marks for the content. Which means if you write this format without mistakes, you will have 2 marks in your pocket and 3 marks for the body of the letter plus the biodata. So hope the format of letter writing is clear to you. The format of letter of application is clear to you. Remember, when you write the body of the letter, your tone should be formal, it should be crisp, it should be, the tone should be polite, and you need not include all unnecessary information. Just mention about the source, mention about the qualification that you have, the work experience that you have, and then wind up the letter by writing about a positive response expected from the employer. And then complementary clause, signature line. Sometimes in your examination, along with the advertisement, they would give write XXX for name and YYY for address. This commonly appears in the question paper. If it is mentioned like that in your test paper, what you have to do is, instead of sender's address, you just write YYY, which means these 3 lines that I have written here, not required. Instead, you just need to write YYY. Don't write YYY 3 times, just write 1 time. And here, instead of the name, you don't write your original name, instead you write XXX and a small signature related to XXX just before that. So this is with respect to the format of a letter of application. We have already mentioned at the end that enclosure is the biodata. Now if you want more enclosures, you can write that also. Say for example, copy of the certificates. Copy of the certificates, your work experience certificate, your 10th standard, 12th standard, degree marks, everything can be attached. The copy of such certificates can be attached. If you are attaching that, you can add that also. But there should be minimum a biodata attached to that. So now let us see the format of biodata, or what should you include in biodata. So I have written biodata, format of biodata on the board. Now what is biodata? What does it give the employer? What idea is projected through the biodata? Biodata speaks about the personal achievements and professional achievements of a person. Personal details are given, professional experience is given, work experience is given, and if there is any reference, any person who can refer you to the employer, that also can be mentioned in the biodata. So we'll include only these details. See, professionals, when they write their biodata, there are many divisions, subdivisions. Here we mention only the simplest of the details about the job seeker. So first comes the name of the person. Okay, since everything is typed these days, make sure that the alignment should be proper. So first comes the name of the person. So write the name of the person. It should be same that of the letter. Always remember. And then comes the date of birth. If you want, you can add date of birth and age. But it is not required. If you just mention the date of birth in the normal format, that would be fine. Then comes the address. The address that you have mentioned in the letter should be written here also. Say for example, if you are writing YYY in the letter, that YYY can be written here if it is mentioned in the question paper. Then comes email ID. Now along with address you have to mention your contact number. I have not written it here because it is understood that these days contact number or mobile number is much more important than the address that you write there. So along with address you need to mention the mobile number, and then comes the mail ID. Mail ID is very important. Probably most of the organizations these days, appointment orders are given through sent through the mail IDs. It comes to your mail ID. So that is very, very important. Then mention about the gender, because there are some posts which are specifically kept for gents or for ladies. So for that purpose, we need to mention the gender. So whether it is male or female, you need to write here. Then comes nationality. Nationality, definitely it is Indian. Now if you want, you can add marital status. That can be written soon after gender. After gender, you can write marital status. What does it mean? Single or married. Say for example, some companies, especially related to that of sales and marketing, they prefer gents, and that too bachelors they prefer. So for that purposes, we need to mention the marital status. You can mention single or married. After that comes educational qualifications. Educational qualifications can be summed up in a box. What all things do you need to write? You need to mention the course. Say for example, if you are applying for the post of an accountant in an organization, you need to mention the courses. If they have asked BCom or MCom as the course that the job seeker must have, you need to mention it in the order. The highest course that you have should be mentioned first. So here, if you are a graduate, mention the course name here in this first box, that is BCom. And now board. Then comes the year of passing. Which year did you pass out? That you have to mention a percentage. Say if you have got 85%, mention 85%. And next comes your second PUC, or just write PUC, Karnataka State Board, year of passing, definitely 3 years minus, and then the percentage, here your SSLC, and then the board, if it is CBSE, mention CBSE, the year of passing, and then the percentage. And the box would be complete. So this, if you write it in a box, the advantage is that it sums up your entire academic qualifications. It's easy for the employer to understand it in a glance. Then comes work experience. See, if you don't have experience, you can just leave that blank. You need not mention anything. But it's always better to write work experience. So here, under this work experience, you can write 2 years as an accountant in such and such organization. 2 years as an accountant in L&T, MYSURU, you can mention. So that sums up your work experience. Then languages known. So languages known, if you know English, Hindi, Kannada, and more than that, whichever languages you know, you can mention about it. It's always an additional qualification for you. Then comes skills. So what do you write here? Skills, you can write computer. Knowledge of C, C++, or knowledge of Tally. This comes under skills. Because when you give your academic qualifications, even if you have completed a course on Tally, you won't mention here. So those things can be mentioned because they are additional skill sets that can be mentioned under this title, skills. Then comes hobbies. Again, definitely you have to mention about some group activity here. Say for example, hobbies, cricket or football, etc. Because when you are part of a group activity, that gives an impression that you are a good team player. You cannot play football on your own. You cannot play cricket on your own. There should always be a synchronization with the other players. So for that purpose, it's always better if you can mention, drawing. Certain jobs require that skills. So drawing, cricket, football, etc., etc. you can write. Now comes reference. So already in the letter we have written one reference, that was the source of information regarding the vacancy in the organization. And this reference is different. This is the name, address and contact number of a person who knows you very well, who can validate, who can speak about your capacity as a worker or as a person. Say for example, here you can mention the director, L&T, MYSURU, the director, L&T, MYSURU, and just give one phone number. So what does that mean? It means that the director of L&T knows you because earlier you have been working. We have already mentioned it under work experience. He knows you. He can confirm that you have been a very good worker there. You have been a very good employee there. You know everything related to accounting. So that is what we mean by reference. And then comes declaration. So what is declaration? It is giving a statement that whatever details you have given, you have stated in this biodata are true. So it's just one statement. I solemnly affirm that all the given particulars are true to the best of my knowledge. Just one statement is enough. I solemnly affirm that all the given details in the biodata are true to the best of my knowledge and belief. It's a promise that you are true to them. And then comes the next, leave one line after declaration, and then on the left hand side you have to write place, MYSURU, and date. Date is the date of application. Whichever date you have mentioned in the letter, the same date should come over here. So it is 23 December. The date can be in the normal format 23/12/2020. And then comes the signature. Say for example, if in the question it is XXX and YYY for name and address, you can write XXX in small letter and XXX in capital letter here. Otherwise, just mention the name and just put a signature before that. Don't write sign and name. Put a signature and then write the name. That is enough. And here the biodata is complete. So as I told you, we have mentioned about the personal, professional details, the work experience and the references of the job seeker in the biodata. So now we have seen the format of the letter, we have seen the format of the biodata. So let me just give you a small example for the letter of application. I will just read out. So the question is this is how it comes in your question paper. Write a letter of application in response to the following advertisement which appeared in the Times of India dated 25th July 2020. Wanted, First Division Assistant, qualifications, any graduate with the skills of computer should have command over Kannada, English and Hindi. Apply to the President, Basveshwara Educational Society, Vidyanagar, Hubballi. So this is the address given. So now let's see how it can be written. Just write the sender's address at first. Nothing is mentioned regarding XXX and YYY, so write the address. MS Ramchandra, number 333, second cross, Navilu Road, Kwempu Nagar, Mysuru 570023. This is the sender's address. And now the advertisement has come on 25th July as per the question. So here we write August 2, 2020. Now the receiver's address, the President, Basveshwara Education Society, Vidyanagar, Hubballi. So that sums up the recipient's address. And then comes the salutation, respected sir, subject, application for the post of First Division Assistant. That is the vacant post. Application for the post of First Division Assistant. Reference, your advertisement in the Times of India dated July 25th, 2020. So that is the reference. Now let me sum up the body of the letter. This is how it should be written. With respect to the subject cited above, I would like to apply for the post of First Division Assistant in your prestigious society. I have all the necessary qualifications that you have asked for. Besides having 3 years of experience working in the same cadre. Given an opportunity, I assure you, sir, that I will discharge my duties and responsibilities to your entire satisfaction. I herewith enclose my biodata for your kind information, awaiting your positive response. Full stop. Thank you. Yours faithfully, signature, name, and then enclosure, biodata. So see the body of the letter. What have you written? First you have mentioned about the reference. Reference has already been cited above, that you have mentioned in your letter. Then you have mentioned that you are applying for the post of the First Division Assistant. Then you have mentioned that you have all the necessary qualifications required. Then you have spoken about having 3 years of experience, and then you have given them an assurance that you will discharge all your duties in a responsible way, and then you have summed up by expecting a positive reply from them. And then comes the complementary closure and then the signature line. So this is about the letter. Now let us see the biodata. Name, father's name, age and date of birth, address, contact number, mail ID, then languages known, hobbies, nationality, Indian, gender, male, marital status, single, experience, 3 years, computer skills, C++, Tally. Remember, this is the skill set because they have already asked for the skill in computer. So C++ and Tally. Reference is given Mohan Krishna, HR Manager, Apple Company Limited, Bangalore. So 3 years of experience was here with Apple Company, and one of the managers, the HR manager of that company is given as a reference in your letter. And then comes academic qualifications. We have mentioned it in the box. The course, board, year and percentage. And then finally declaration. I affirm that all the above given information is true to the best of my knowledge and belief. Sign and name on the right hand side, then date and place on the left hand side. And here the biodata ends. So, dear students, we have seen letter of application and we'll send you some questions through WhatsApp, to which you can write your own letters. One model letter would be sent to you through WhatsApp. So, dear students, hope you understood how to write a letter of application and a biodata attached to that. Please go through the video, understand it fully, and make sure that the 5 marks, I have already told you, 2 marks for the format and 3 marks for the content. You will be able to ensure that the entire 5 marks you will get. Thank you.